Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mathias, and my speech is entitled "Scratching Through Time." Basically, it's just the invention of the scratch, and I'm just going to provide you like a brief backdrop and how the scratch was invented, why it's important, and how I'm sure everyone's heard it today because hip hop is saturated, like every aspect of our life, from video games to commercials to magazine ads to TV shows and whatnot. So, what is scratching? The term scratching refers to the technique of placing one hand on a record while simultaneously working the fader on the mixer with your other hand and sliding the fader left or right, which dictates which turntable is going to be used. So as you can see, there's two turntables, and this is your mixer. The fader is actually this piece right here, and these other switches are going to be like the pitch control to control how fast RPMs are going to go. And basically, the fader is it's basically powering the power to one side, so basically just going like that. And it just switches the power to the left or right. And why is scratching important? Well, it's really important because when it came out in 1979, it really pushed the boundaries of what people thought was possible with the turntable. They really took it to the next level. And the scratch actually led to new techniques and caused people to think outside the box, to create something new, always pushing the boundaries and always thinking about progression within the DJ community. And it also allowed DJs to become solo artists because prior to that, their biggest aspirations were to be part of like a group, to be on stage with someone famous and go on tour. So this is just a brief origin of the scratch. It was invented by Grand Wizard Theodore in 1977, and this simple sound would go on to lead to inspiration and innovation throughout the music industry.
This one particular day when I came home from school, I usually go home and practice, and I was playing music a little bit too loud, and my mom came and banged on the door. If you don't cut that music down, you're gonna have to cut it off. So while she was in the doorway, screaming at me, I was still holding the record and rubbing the record back and forth. When she left, I was like, that's a pretty good idea. So when she left, I experimented with it, a couple of months, a couple of weeks, different records, and then when I was ready, I gave a party, and that's when I first introduced the scratch.
So what kind of innovation does scratching lead to? One innovation is beat juggling, and that's the live manipulation of music. So basically you have two albums, and in order to properly beat juggle, you're going to find the break of both albums, isolate that break, and use the fader to create a cohesive piece of music. It's just not jabbled and crap. And this was actually invented by DJ Steve D in 1991 at the US DMC. And what the DMC actually is, it stands for Disco Mix Club, and it's just a competition. They're held in most continents. And US DJs usually go on to place and win. And he was actually a founding member of the Executioners. And this is just an example by DJ Cooper, and this is just showing you what beat juggling actually is.
So, you listen to both of those music.
Another innovation was body tricks, and this refers to the DJ using his body in non-traditional ways to control both the turntables and the mixer while creating a cohesive piece of music. This is DJ David. He's from Germany. He was the DMC World Champion in 1990 to 91, and you can see that he's the first one to actually implement this into a competition. And the DMC actually became like a staging point to show new innovations, new techniques, new tricks. And you can see he's working his foot with the record while controlling the fader. He's basically doing a handstand while spinning the other record. And here you're going to see Rock Raider. He's from the Executioners. He was the 1996 DMC World Champion. And this is just an example of how you can use body tricks. And new opportunities, like I mentioned before, with the technology kind of pushed DJs to the wayside with the emergence of the drum machine, more specifically with the release of Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang. Just having the drum machine and the MCs, it kind of showed that you didn't really need a DJ. You could just have a piece of equipment and that would create the beat. So it kind of pushed the DJs to the background. And DJ Babu coined the term turntablist kind of just to separate themselves and create their own identity as solo artists. And this is all due to the scratch because it allowed the DJ to become a solo artist on their own and stand on their own 2 feet as a musician. And these are Return of the DJ. I believe there's 3 volumes of them. And it's strictly just DJs. There's no MCs, no rap, it's just music in its truest form as far as DJs are concerned. And the man you're going to be speaking here is DJ Rob Swift.
Oh man, it definitely opened some doors, and it opened our minds. Up until the Return of the DJ album, my goal was to DJ for a popular rap group and be on stage with someone and be in videos and stuff like that. I never thought that I'd end up having my own album and that I'd be able to exist as a musician without the presence of an MC. And Return of the DJ was like the start of that.
And what did we learn today? We went over a few techniques and how scratching led to those techniques, because scratching really set the foundation to show that people, I mean, when your parents told you put a record on the turntable, you're supposed to just put the record on and not touch it. And this showed that you could find new ways of being your own person and find your own identity, creativity to establish yourself as your own artist. And we went over the techniques, beat juggling, and body tricks, and most importantly is the scratch led to DJs being solo artists. They had options going into like the mid-80s. I mean, your only option as a DJ was to either be a club DJ or to be part of a group in the background, and they didn't really give you any recognition as far as being part of the group. It was more about the rappers. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.